With a pen. Usually I'm a pen thief. So I might not get this back. Remind me. I'll mail it to you. Oh, that's okay.
I'll let you steal this one.
Actually, I think that one. Yeah, hotels. I don't even know who that is. Ah,
Yeah.
and that one did write nicer. Oh, this one's blue.
Ready? Okay. I call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. I'd like special prayers to go out to Ronnie Newman. Ronnie continues his recovery and healing. Thank you.
Mr. President, move to
Yes.
open public hearing number 1 in accordance with section 42-46-6B. Council may review, discuss, and or take action on the following items. Discussion and consideration of installation of a pedestrian crossing with signage at Hillsdale Mobile Park or on Gardner Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Who is going to provide details for that?
Already went over it. This is just public hearing.
Right. I would like to see a speed bump there, but no, no,
Don't tell Gary.
right,
We used to say scout.
Mr. President,
yes.
seeing nobody in the public, motion to close public hearing.
Anybody
Second.
online? Aaron?
All those-
Does anybody out in the public want to say?
Is it, would anyone like to weigh in on the crosswalk at Hillsdale?
I would, do I?
Yes,
Come on.
please, come up to the podium and give your name and address.
Hi, Andrew Cotter, 464 Gardner Road. I'm in the Hillsdale development. Where the crosswalk's gonna go in. I just don't have don't have much detail on it. And, why it was proposed or, if it's gonna cost us anything.
It won't.
That's a big thing. Yeah, so I was, we just didn't have much information about
Right,
I think at the last meeting, there was a picture that you can get online of the layout of where the crosswalk would be.
And it was also, Mr. President, it was also a safety issue because of the amount of residents on each side.
it.
The crosswalk, being a little safer for the residents to make the commute from one side to the other, north to south.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of a hairy turn because there's a blind curve, not far south of there. So,
Oh.
Shared for the.
there it is.
and Location.
It's a rather, there's the speed of vehicles down that road is kind of on the high side too.
yeah.
I actually I was on my way to a friend's house 2 weeks ago who lives down there and somebody actually passed me in that area.
Yeah, same has happened too. It should be, I don't know, it's 25 miles an hour, but very few,
Mr. President?
Yes.
It's not gonna cost you anything. It's,
Okay.
the DPW will take care of
I
it.
just didn't have much information about
Yep.
it. How it was proposed or anything. So
Right.
just saw it in the agenda.
Sam?
Mr. President, it was proposed when I believe a board member came to public forum and had mentioned it was a safety concern because people go from one side to the other to walk their dogs or put the trash in barrels. Our police chief looked into it after that and then came back to us and said, sounds like a good idea to me. So
Yeah.
that's how we got here today.
Slow moving pedestrians, fast moving cars.
Exactly. Recipe for disaster.
Okay,
Well, Mr. President, there also will be signage that will indicate that the crosswalk is coming up.
you mean a diamond sign?
Chief?
So if I may, there'll be signage obviously at the crosswalk, which is on the south side of that intersection, which is the best location for it.
That's the south, yeah,
Yeah, and there'll be, so this is looking from 464 across the street.
right.
And then with that corner that you mentioned, sir, there's gonna be advanced warning about a crosswalk up in both directions.
Yeah, that should be.
I know there's a question about whether it was gonna be an illuminated sign, similar to the one at Meadowbrook, but it's not. It's gonna be a standard, like antsy yellow, high visibility sign.
Thank you, Chief. Did you,
Yeah, is he done?
are you all set?
Yeah.
All right, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Hi, Jim Brea, Gardner Road. I'm the one that originally brought this, proposed this. As I said, it was a couple of months ago when we started this, that we do have, seems like a lot more residents up in Hillsdale now that cross over from one side of the road to the other. And as I stated then, and I'll reiterate, on the 465 side, you have 65 units. On the other side, we have 40 units. On the side with 40 units, we have 80 acres. That's where everybody likes to walk. We have trails and little dirt roads and stuff like that. Goes way up in the back. So crossing is a bit of an issue. We had some signs that were purchased some years ago. And I talked to Gary Robar about them. I dropped them off at the Department of Public Works. See if he could use them, which I believe he can, a regular yellow pedestrian, some kind of aluminum, I'm not sure which. But I have mentioned a few of the people I've seen walking through, and they said that would be such a good thing that if we could get a crosswalk in there, because we have so many people. And, you know, it won't be costing the park anything. We provided the signs just to labor down the town, getting the signs up. And the lights.
Well, thanks for bringing the signs up and thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure there's, everything's clear on it, you know, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions?
No questions.
Yeah, very good.
All right. Do you have any further comment?
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to close public hearing.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to open public hearing for the amendment to the Richmond Code of Ordinances. Oh, wait, no, we have to approve first. I'm sorry. Motion to approve the installation of pedestrian crossing with signage at Hillsdale Memorial
Second.
Park.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. President, move to open public hearing number 2 under section 4246(6)B. Council may review, discuss, and or take action on the following items. Discussion and consideration of an amendment to the Richmond Code of Ordinances, chapter 106020, entitled Places Where Vehicles Are Required to Stop, which will require stopping between 464 to 465 Gardner Road.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have any further comment? Or are we good on that
Clear with it.
topic?
Mr. President, move to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President, move to approve number 2.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
aye,
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to open public hearing for the amendment to the Richmond Code of Ordinances, chapter 2.12.010, entitled Police Membership Requirement.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Chief?
Sure.
All set and ready to roll?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, I didn't know if there was a particular question,
Oh, yeah,
but just trying to be more competitive with the recruiting
right.
retention process. State police hires candidates 18 years old with a high school diploma or a GED. We've been 21 for the length of time I think that they've had a police department. And they're looking to be more competitive.
Right.
We have some folks, I think I mentioned before, some very talented dispatchers. One in particular who might be a great candidate for us.
Excellent.
In order to make that more attractive and be more competitive with other departments, we're asking to lower it to age 20.
Cool. I don't know why you don't go to 18, but
Say baby steps.
okay. All right.
President,
President?
motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. President, move to approve, number 3.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. President,
Yes.
motion to approve the consent agenda 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
All those in favor of approving consent agendas 1, 2, and 3, and 4?
Aye.
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 Public
I
forum.
wasn't here for the, meeting, so I have to, pull 1A.
At this point, you could just abstain as
Just
well.
abstain.
I do. Thank you.
Public.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to public hearing. I invite anyone who has any, yeah, that's what I'm going. Public hearing, public forum, anyone who has any concerns other than what is on the agenda already would come up and share that. It's a great opportunity to talk, to let off some steam.
Mr. President, move to close the public hearing.
I don't think we need to.
I know.
Reports. Town Administrator Karen D. Pench.
Thank you. First thing I want to do is just give you an update on the town sign. The wooden sign is in, the granite posts are in, and the electronic sign should be ready any day.
Excellent.
And we also have an electrician, ready to run the wires. The electronic sign company called, they wanted to schedule it, however, with DOT working out there, they poured the base for their giant green sign, and we want to make sure it doesn't obscure our sign before we choose a location. We may also have to get permission from DOT to put it where we want to put it, because their right of way comes pretty far onto our property. So we're kind of a little bit in limbo right now, but I think within the next couple of weeks, we'll have a better handle on where they're going to be and what we need to do.
I'm excited. I've only been waiting since 2016 for this electronic.
Which brings me to my second item, which Councilwoman Wilcox had put on the agenda for a policy for what could be on the sign. So you have the proposed policy attached to the agenda, but for those members of the public who have not seen it yet, give you just a brief overview of what can and can't, or what I'm proposing can and can't be on the sign. A non-exhaustive list of the types of things that could be on the sign. Voter information, general town notifications, information about events sponsored by the town, information about events not sponsored by the town, but taking place on town property. However, I know that's what I wrote, and then today, in thinking about something further on down your agenda about someone wanting to rent town property for a for-profit venture, I don't know that we would want to advertise anything that was for-profit that was on town property, so we may want to
Yeah,
revise that a little bit.
I'd like to
If
see
you even
that.
approve that other item. And other safety information. Things that we wouldn't want to see on the town sign, political or partisan events. Events held by outside entities, not on town property. And obviously inappropriate vulgar language, things like that.
Yes, I definitely would like to add in that we don't want any for-profit groups advertising on our town sign.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd say we just remove D completely, just information about events sponsored by the town and the safety information. That way it doesn't create some
Yeah.
kind of gray area
Okay.
that puts you in a tough position. 'cause
Yeah,
that's the whole
that's
point of this.
actually a better idea. You're right.
Well, what about the county fair?
That's not town property.
You're right.
All right, that would be one that I would think we'd want to put on the sign, Washington County Fair.
Well, what, was suggested when it first brought up was we still allow nonprofits to put their signs up like the Seafood Festival does. I don't think the Washington County Fair really needs our space. I think they have their own kind of advertisements.
They do.
If they wanted to, they could ask, but we don't typically see them try to do that.
Well, Mr. President, that's exactly what I was thinking, because they usually put the big sign up right there. And it's so close, I don't think they would need, that small space on the electronic sign for
Right.
that, so, yeah.
Also, I mean, the proposal as written does give the town administrator some discretion to work within these.
Yeah, we've got the 2020, was it? The 250th anniversary coming up, and we're probably going to want to use that for all kinds of events that are going on in town. And,
And those are town sponsored,
right,
so that would be on this.
so let's, as Samantha suggested, why don't we just remove item D?
Does the council need to vote on that?
Yeah, I think,
Approve it as is
yeah.
with the deletion of.
Yeah.
okay, so we need a motion.
Make that motion.
Second,
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yep.
Ellen?
I have a question about Charahoe. That's not a town thing, but it is a town thing. So if they have canceled school or something, we want to put up a sign, no school tomorrow, or school begins in 4 days or something like that, would we want to allow that on the sign?
I mean, I think, oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. You can go.
No, I think you're right.
Where I think have a little bit of authority to make those decisions, I think I could say, yeah, that's fine. You know.
Okay,
And considering they have their own sign across the
Right,
street, they
across
may
the
not
street,
need
they
it.
have their own.
Mhm.
okay.
People like flashy things.
Mhm. So I'm glad that we're doing a tasteful sign. To me, I've wanted it for so long, and there was so much resistance to it, I just couldn't understand why.
President, move to approve
We
the,
already did.
We did.
We did.
Next item is request for approval to award a bid to DeStefano Construction for renovations to the police station. I had posted a bid, based on some specs from the chief, to renovate the lower level of the police department. It includes, concrete floor coating, framing, finishing walls in the locker room area, a drop ceiling with acoustic tiles, lighting, et cetera. The chief showed the site to interested vendors. The only one bid was submitted by DeStefano Construction. Their price was $104,189.50, which does include prevailing wage. There are other aspects to the project. The chief can elaborate more, but our total funding for this project is $190,500, and of that, we have $150,000 from in a congressional appropriation through Senator Reed's office. So the additional $40,500 the council approves through ARPA.
Right.
So
Wow.
Mr. President?
How many companies actually came down to scope out the job, and you only got one?
We had one local contractor from this area, and we had the Stefano Brothers come out. That concrete coating was the preferred product, that Pentac flooring. I had another inquiry from, I think it was the Midwest, via email, but they never followed up. It's a dated space, obviously, and this is going to raise the esprit de corps, morale, beautify the space that we have. We've got a lot of unfinished concrete flooring, mismatched lockers that were donated. I think some came from the old lad school property, some metal lockers
Wow.
that came from Charahoe. So part of this funding from the feds is to buy all uniform lockers with a bench, something professional in appearance, and in a much better working condition for the folks that service the town.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm just,
Thank you.
I'm,
Could I,
just,
you were still talking.
No,
Oh, you
I was,
Okay.
it just seems kind of, I don't know what the scope of, your RFPs are when you send them out, but people are kind of starting to catch up on their backlog of work. And I've heard quite a few contractors say that they're really not booking out, for work. Things are really starting to slow down. That's why I'm surprised is there was only one company out of the two that actually, submitted a bid. Do you think maybe if you can in the future broaden your scope of the RFP when you send them out?
I almost always get, I would say always get an inquiry from a company called Construct Connect, and there are other companies, I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but these are companies who scour websites like ours, who get notifications from websites like ours for these types of bids, and then broadcast them to construction companies or anyone else who wants to pay for this service. I assume they pay. I don't really know what the mechanism is, but so it's not just people who sign up for notifications from our website. It's also people who get notifications from these companies like Construct Connect. So,
Just one more thing, I mean, this was an ask, I think, from 2021.
Oh, yeah, it goes
And
back.
it took time, and the way that the feds structure these parameters, you can't post an RFP until you get their approval, and you've made sure, like in this case, I don't think there was any need for an eco study as to the impact on the environment, because it's all contained within that basement. But it left us with a very short timeline, actually, because this has to be committed to funds.
at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right,
Mr. President,
yes.
motion to approve the request.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, folks.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you, chief.
The last item I have is just an update on the memorial chairs. The council approved purchase of memorial chairs in honor of, or in memory of Pat DiBernardo, Chief Neil Place, and Dick Millar.
Yeah.
We had kind of talked a little bit about reaching out to Charahoe, but, this was months ago now. They didn't have anything going on in the summer where they could help us. I did reach out to Ed Smith at Charahoe Furniture. He agreed to sell us chairs at his cost.
Oh, wow.
And what we ended up doing is getting, and you may have seen them outside, it's basically, I want to call them love seats. It's two chairs connected by a little table. So there's two of those. And three of the actual chairs will have a memorial plaque, which is on order right now.
Very nice.
Yeah, so those were $1,390, $700 of which Rich out of his pocket.
Really?
Yep.
Thank you, Rich.
Welcome.
So that's just a little update on that. And I don't know if, when they come, maybe you want to invite the families to a meeting
Right.
where you give some sort of proclamation, or I think it would be a nice gesture to have the families come in and be
Very nice.
recognized.
Have the ceremony outside too, and yeah, absolutely.
You could do it kind of in conjunction with the council meeting, I think.
For sure.
And we,
Yeah.
we contacted the families so that they have something that they want their family members' plaque to say.
Oh, nice.
So they had a say in their own plaque, which is
Nice.
kind of cool.
Thank you for spearheading that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So we need a motion and a second to approve that.
Nope, it's already
It
done.
was,
Oh.
you had already
Oh,
approved that,
okay.
so thank you.
All right, thank you, Karen. Chief, do you have anything to add, even though you're not on the agenda? But usually you
Oh,
are.
You can do that.
No, that's okay. We ran into a deadline issue. I will mention that next Tuesday is National Night Out, which is a national program to promote positive, proactive interactions between law enforcement and the public. Usually see a lot of youth from the area attend this event. It's over at Ninigret. Plenty of space, great experience every year. We have officers volunteer to do this. And we'll be back there Tuesday, the 24th, between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, chief.
We move on to appointments and resignations.
President?
Yes.
Motion to approve the resignation of Jennifer Pasqualini from the Dog Park Committee
Second.
With regret.
with
With
regret.
regret.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 New business. Discussion and consideration, I'm sorry, do I need to read the legalese?
No.
Please do.
Huh?
Yeah, please read.
Okay. New business, please note in accordance with section 42, 46, 6B, the council may review, discuss, and take action on the following items. Discussion and consideration of a request from Christina Johnson, Better Behaved Dogs, to rent the former dog park on Buttonwoods Road to hold dog training classes and socialization. So that being said, is Christina here?
Hello.
Would you like to come up and tell us a little about what you're going to be doing?
Sure. My name is Christina Johnson. I'm a Richmond resident. Basically, it's just one class a week on Sundays. I run a socialization group that for some dogs, it's just energy burn, but for a lot of the dogs that attend, it's keeping them socially acceptable, basically. And that's pretty much it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
My lab is
So
terrible,
interrupted.
terrible in public, very badly behaved. As anyone can
Dog
attest.
trainer.
Yeah. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, question. We have that new nice facility, the dog park.
Yes.
Why don't you do it there?
Because not all of the dogs are going to get along with the dogs in the dog park. It's sort of a select group. I know all of the dogs, I know all of their temperaments. I choose to bring or not bring certain dogs in because of the dispositions or sensitivities of some of the dogs that are regular attendants.
Well, with that being said, with these dogs, you know, when you're on town property, even though you have permission to do it, and you could end up, are you for profit? You charge for these
Oh, yes,
classes? You do?
absolutely.
Okay. I would want the solicitor to see what the liability to the town would be. Because if somebody ended up getting severely mauled or bit, the town's gonna be liable for that. And, we have to find out like what kind of insurance, riders you carry,
Okay, yep.
for that.
I'm more than happy to share that information.
And the second thing is maybe we're opening up something a little bit new here, but I kind of like rack my brain a little bit. Maybe somebody can, maybe shed some light on this, but does the town rent land for-profit business at this point in the juncture? Or is this going to be a new,
I think off the top of my head, this is probably
the first?
Mr. President.
Yes.
Last cycle, I guess, election cycle, we did rent, I guess, we asked to use Beaver River Playground for a picnic for like a event, and we had to get our own liability insurance. We didn't pay a fee for it. We were, it was a nonprofit, not a nonprofit, it was a partisan group. So that's the only experience that I can think of, but it's a good question. I would wonder too, if there's any additional liability because of the state of the property. The dog park moved for a reason because we weren't, it wasn't the best place for dogs to be playing. So that's my only concern. I'd want to just make sure we're not opening ourselves up to a liability there without opening that up.
So I make, if it's proper at this point, to make a motion to have the solicitor charge him to look into the liability issue for the town and the legal agreement that we'd have to, enter into with a for-profit business on public land. If there's a precedence already set for this, or if we're going to be opening ourselves up to other people now wanting to rent town land.
I'm sure that Christina's not paying for a second vacation home with the money that she's making from this. I think it's just to defray the cost of the rental.
Yeah.
Here's a quick
Karen
question.
wants to talk.
Okay, go ahead. Karen.
Just to give you some additional information on liability and insurance, anytime anyone uses town property, even if they don't pay us anything. Like for instance, when there used to be a farmer's market out here or whatever, they're required to carry insurance. And they're required to list the town as an additional insured.
Rich?
Quick question.
Sure.
Do you have liability insurance?
I do.
Wow, that was easy.
Very.
You go.
We don't need to go any further than.
Come on, look.
Mr.
I'll-
President, just, I'm glad she does have the liability insurance. Karen is, the administrator is correct. The town would be listed as a loss payee. But what we want to see is an accord binder from your carrier
Right.
listing the town as a loss payee. The amount of the liability, we don't know what that is. So the town, you're gonna want it, you want to know what that is. Is it 100,000, is it 1,000,000 per occurrence? And then total.
Okay.
So if you could provide that to the town
Okay,
administrator, that'd be very helpful.
absolutely.
And I'll get you that opinion.
That motion was not seconded and we didn't vote on it. I just don't know if I want to spend town solicitor time trying to research that. That's, we do have a procedure in the past when, I personally used it, food trucks have used it, farmers markets has used it, so I just don't want to spend taxpayer dollars on
Yeah.
further researching it.
Beat
this
it to
event.
death. I
Yeah.
Just, if, I would like, what I'd like to see is a motion to approve it pending presentation
That's
of
basically what it
proper
says.
documentation.
So moved.
There's another question.
Just let me
Okay,
just add
go ahead, Rick.
for you, Mr. President. I can do that. It won't take an inordinate amount of time. This won't be 10-hour research project. This will be a short amount of time. I think I can answer the questions about the without getting into all kinds of liability. It's town property, the town's liable. If there's liability insurance, that's certainly helpful. Right. Also, if there's a problem, if somebody falls, town has, even though there's insurance on behalf of the dog park, the dog, Delmira Kennels, town is still going to be a defendant in that, even though she has coverage. So you should know that. Even though you didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
The trip, they're gonna sue the town, they're gonna sue Ms. Johnson's company as well. You're gonna both get hit. Doesn't mean you're gonna pay, but you're gonna defend.
Right.
Well, again, Mike,
Mark,
right.
you said in here you wanted to rent the land. Is that a dollar amount that you have in mind? Does the town have a dollar amount that we have in mind? The words are there, I'm just reading them. So,
I can share what I'm paying currently for rents.
I mean, I'm not looking at it from a money grab,
It's
I'm
not,
asking.
it's not that much, honestly. I'm
Yep.
paying $25 per hour to Delmira Kennels
Yep.
for the classes that I run
Okay.
in their indoor facility.
Yep.
And then I'm paying $50 to All Are Welcome presently, which is where they're being held right now. But
Okay.
unfortunately, that facility was sold.
Okay,
So,
okay, well, that's fine. I just so people have the information. I
Yep,
don't care about the dollar
absolutely.
amount.
And, yeah, I mean, myself, we don't use it.
right.
I can't, and I'll probably open myself up to criticism here, but I'd like to rent it for $1. Is there any disagreement with me on that?
Yeah, it just may as well do it for free at that point versus
Yeah.
spending
Oh.
town time on
Right.
invoicing and whatnot. I'm definitely, I want to see the property used. Like I said, I just have concerns just because the property wasn't suitable before. So I want to just make sure we're covered, but I think it's fine.
I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I just, Mr. President, just one other comment, obviously, this is the first time this has been presented to the council, so we haven't, discussed this in nauseam, so I'm just trying to get all the information out on the table to be able to make an intelligent decision here. Being in business for 43 years, you are liable, whether or not you do something wrong or not. And, there are a lot of precarious situations you can be putting yourself into, the town. All right. Food truck is one thing. A dog training where you can get a pit bull, and if somebody gets mauled really bad, even somebody that works for you, they're going to go for the deep pockets. And that's usually what happens. They will sue you and they will sue the town too. I don't feel comfortable in opening the town up to liability like that. We just had a case that we just, basically took off the books because of a liability issue. So
What was that?
that's my feeling.
Aaron,
One other thing I'd just like to bring to your attention, I don't drive by there every day, so I don't know what condition it's in. I don't know if DPW is mowing it.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah,
It's in pristine condition.
looks nice.
as long, I mean, if they're mowing it, that's fine, but I wouldn't want them to have to mow it
Nope.
because someone's gonna use it, especially if we're only charging $1 or nothing at all. I mean, we need to at least cover our costs, I think.
sure, whatever.
How many years have you been doing this?
Next year will be 30 years.
Wow.
So you have a pretty good idea of the clientele that you have.
I do.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I think it's nice to have anything in the town like this. My dogs have stayed at Delmira Country Club for dogs for 40 years.
Wonderful.
And I'm excited about it. So I don't, unless it's gonna cost the town something, I don't see any reason to charge for it. And is like, if you're carrying the proper insurance so the town doesn't have any fears, then I'm great with that.
Mr. President,
Yes,
motion to approve the request for Better Behaved Dogs to rent the former dog park.
do I have a second?
Yeah, second that.
One last
With-
thing,
with-
just to be
with all the
clear.
appropriate-
Point of order. Point of order, I made the motion. Thank you. One last thing. The dog park is closed. It's not a dog park, so people listening, public paying attention, that does not mean that it is open to the public. The gates will still be locked. Please use the new dog park. We spent so much time building that. Thank you.
Well, with that,
Make that
Mr. President,
motion.
that motion.
Bold.
gotta be-
Motion in it, there's a motion and a second, is there discussion?
Yes, we're trying to discuss. Go ahead.
Some of those prerequisites that you have to look into,
That's what I
that
want.
should be an amendment to the motion.
How do you, right now, there's a motion to approve it. What do you want to do, if anything, with the request by Councilor Colasante for the opinion on liability? What kind of contract there should be, whether or not, and just thinking of this now, whether there should be a waiver by the people that use those services. Maybe for the protection of the town. That's not gonna, again, somebody steps in a little depression in the land, twists an ankle.
Mr.
It's
President.
not gonna prevent it. I'm just, how do you want to approach it? is what
Mr.
I'm asking.
President.
Yes.
I would like to approach it in the way where council doesn't necessarily micromanage that because we are not the contract experts. We are not the ones who are going to build that. I think that we should honestly trust your judgment to do it and not need our approval on that contract. I know that I went to a planning board site walk in 2022 and the attorney who was hosting the site walk for the owner of the property, not for the town, had us all sign a waiver, 1-page waiver. You know, we're on their property.
You gotta hurt, it's on you.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not overly complicated where I just don't feel like we need to be a part of that process. I think we could trust your judgment on it.
So we would still
So-
need to
so-
add that
so
to the
it-
motion.
Yeah.
So
So we will.
to add to the motion, I'd just like to see a waiver and proper insurance.
Let me,
Sure.
be clear, so
Okay.
I know what my charge is.
Okay,
Is the council asking for a form of waiver? Totally fine. Are they asking for a contract with Ms. Johnson and her company? Right, that's two things. You're asking for proof of insurance by Ms. Johnson, right? An accord binder from your carrier or your agent with paid receipt, lost payee, town of Richmond.
Let me kind of just write some notes down. Oh, thank you very much.
And then some type of contract that she's going to execute with the town. Is it gonna be for consideration? That, the contract at a minimum should say that she's going to get the waivers from the people to sign them, because you're not gonna be there, I'm not gonna
Right.
be there to get them. It's
right.
gonna be incumbent upon her to do that.
I can have them signed and deliver them to the appropriate individual. My next question would be, would you be supplying the waiver so that it's covering everything to do with the town?
The answer is yes.
Okay,
It would come, if they direct me to do that, I would do that.
okay,
In the contract, if that's what you want, it's gonna be your responsibility to obtain the signed waivers from those people.
okay.
Will it be the same people over and over, or will it be different people every week?
Primarily the same over and over. Occasionally I bring new people in.
Every new person gets a new waiver.
Right.
Talia,
Holly Gillette, town planner. I just wanted to bring this up because it was rolling around in my head a little bit earlier. And I looked at our hazard mitigation plan like 2 seconds ago on my phone. But in the past, the former dog park has been used as a site for debris after storms. So I think it would be important to just make sure that there wouldn't be a conflict between when we have dogs there and when there'd be debris there from storms. The town doesn't have a specific debris management plan. It's one of the locations where debris has been brought
Yeah,
under
usually
the
those-
offices of DPW, so I'd hate for you to go to a site with all these dogs and then go, oh, there's all of this material here from these storms, so I think there just would need to be a little bit of coordination in relation to that now.
Good point.
thank you.
Karen.
So,
Karen.
Karen,
I think that would definitely have to be written into the contract, something to the effect that we would have first use of the property, so to speak.
Yeah.
Second of all, there is a policy on use of town property.
Mhm.
I haven't read it in a while. I'm gonna have to look at that again, but I just want you to be aware of that, and I'll make sure Chris has it. I'm just looking real quickly to see if there's an amount of insurance. But I'll get with Chris and we'll.
I
make
would
sure.
anticipate it's 1 million per
It's-
occurrence, 2 million in the aggregate.
Yeah.
It's kind of standard.
right,
The other piece is the charge. I think $1 is not a reasonable figure. I think it should be 25. Not that I want you to pay so much, but in a way, we'd be setting some kind of precedent for using the town land. So I wouldn't want to say that you get it almost free to one person, then you have to give it almost free to everybody.
Absolutely.
Counselor Sheehan, would that, is your suggestion 25 per class or?
That's what you're charging now, 25 per class. You're paying now,
Yes,
25 per
correct.
class, yes.
Mr. President,
yes,
all right. Motion to amend my motion to include the $25 fee and the town solicitor to assist with drafting up the contract and waivers.
And I will amend my second
The
to
second. to amend.
to her, yeah, that.
okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Communications, petitions, and proclamations. Mr. President,
Yes,
motion to file.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Mr. President?
Yeah.
Motion to enter executive session pursuant to RI General Laws 42-46-5A2 regarding potential litigation concerning Nooseneck Conservation Subdivision.
yes,
Roll call vote.
do I have a second for that?
No, it's roll call.
We have to second before you roll call. Yes,
Second.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Ready to go? Motion to return to open session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. President, move to seal the executive session minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Mr. President, move to adjourn.
Point, sorry, 1 second.
Oh.
Don't you need to announce that we don't have any votes?
Yeah, no votes were taken, no votes were cast.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, John was the senior legal